What's up guys, my name is Ace, and Season 3 is now live in Call of Duty Vanguard as well as Warzone. And in today's video, I'm just going to be focusing on the Vanguard side of things and letting you guys know exactly what changed with this update, including some hidden weapon changes that haven't been mentioned in the patch notes at this point. Let's start this off with the first big thing I want to mention. In yesterday's video, I broke down the trophy system because it was added to the game but not into public matches. It was only available in custom games. So that allowed me to do the testing and share exactly how the trophy system works. And with that, yesterday there was a challenge that was available to unlock the trophy system, although apparently it wasn't tracking properly. And with this, the requirement was to not die to a grenade in 15 different matches. Thankfully, Sledgehammer has decided to remove that challenge entirely, which is great news because it was such a stupid challenge to begin with, and instead they've just given the trophy system to everyone for free, so that's awesome news. Next up, when it comes to the maps, we do have the brand new map, which is called Mayhem, which I showed off a little bit in yesterday's video. Then they made some minor adjustments to several of the maps. Most of these are just like edge case bugs that you wouldn't see too often. But on Bocage, on the first hardpoint location, players were able to capture that hardpoint from an unintended location. That has now been fixed. On Eagle's Nest, there was an area near the library that would cause graphical corruption for some people. That has also apparently been fixed. Then on Gavutu, on the top part of the ship, you could use a deployable cover previously to block a ladder, and you can no longer do that. And then finally, for subpens, attack dogs will no longer get stuck outside of the map when you call them in. That's great news. And footstep audio will now properly play when players walk on the grate floor in the maintenance area. As for the arms race game mode, looks like they just tightened up a bunch of things. There were some issues where various pieces of equipment weren't interacting with the destructible gates properly. The tank wasn't able to traverse terrain as well as it should be able to. So they've just made a bunch of overall improvements there. I'm not going to read out every single one of them because most of them are weird edge cases that most of us have never even experienced. After that, with ranked play, they added Berlin control into rotation for ranked play, and they've also completely restricted the Volk so you can no longer use that in ranked play. Now, let's move on to the new weapons they added to the game, and I just want to share a few basic stats in today's video to at least help you understand what kind of guns these are. Keeping in mind, I will be having my full breakdowns with my gun guide series starting tomorrow with these new guns. But the first one that you unlock at tier 15 in the battle pass, this is the M1916 marksman rifle. And with this, it has a rate of fire of 333 rounds per minute, which is a little bit faster than the M1 Garand. And yet, it's got a 2-shot kill potential to the torso out to 45 meters, which gives us a base time to kill potential of just 180 milliseconds if you can land a torso shot. And that's actually pretty great when you compare it to some of the other marksman rifles out there. So I anticipate this will be a decently solid marksman rifle in the game. As for the assault rifle that they added, this is the Nikita AVT, and with this one, we have the highest fire rate out of all of the assault rifles at 952 rounds per minute. And it's a 4 to 5 shot kill, which means in that 4-shot kill range, our time to kill is just 189 milliseconds. And this is without even factoring any attachments into the equation. And this is actually the fastest base time to kill potential out of any of the assault rifles in the game. So I also anticipate this is going to be quite a powerful gun in Vanguard's multiplayer because it only gets better from there once you start adding attachments onto this. So there you go, that's just a sneak peek at the basics of these guns. Like I said, stay tuned for the gun guides. Those will be coming out starting tomorrow with the Nikita AVT. And now let's just cover a couple little changes and fixes that they've made. One thing they did with the S-Mine is they've apparently fixed the issue where it was acting like a shake weight, where you would place it down and it would just be like vibrating constantly and making a ton of noise. That's been around since launch, and while it's kind of funny, it can also be quite annoying to be experiencing that, so they have tightened that one up. And another thing is the Fortified perk will no longer protect you from a bomb site explosion in Search and Destroy, and I think that's how it should be. I think that bomb site should have a very lethal explosion radius, and if you do screw up your timing trying to go for a defuse or something, you should be punished for that, even if you're using the Fortified perk. Now let's start getting into the weapon adjustments, and there was unfortunately only one weapon change here, and this was with the Gorenko anti-tank rifle. The 22mm Zach Rapid Barrel had its fire rate reduced slightly. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have the pre-patch data on the attachments for this, so I don't know how much this has changed. Just know that that has been adjusted a little bit. And yeah, like I said, that was the only weapon change mentioned in the patch notes. However, there were other weapon changes that happened behind the scenes, and they haven't been mentioned yet. Based on history, they'll probably be adding them to the patch notes at some point after this video goes live. The first change here was to the Volkssturmgewehr's ADS walking speed. The base aim down sight walking speed used to be 7.9 miles per hour. That has been reduced down to 7.4 miles per hour. And I believe they've also made some adjustments to the aim walking movement speed when it comes to using various attachments like the stock attachments. But unfortunately, I don't collect data on stock attachments. I just try to keep track of barrels and magazine attachments. So I can't 100% confirm that part, but I can tell you the base aim walking movement speed on the Volk has been nerfed with this update. Then, quite surprisingly, they nerfed the 30 Russian short ammo type on the Type 100. And this one did surprise me quite a bit because, at least in my eyes, that was like the one attachment that made the Type 100 viable against all of the other SMGs in the game. And that was just it for me. It felt viable, but not overpowered by any means, and I rarely saw anybody using Type 100s out there. But with this, they reduced the fire rate while using this attachment from 681 rounds per minute down to 588 rounds per minute. This was a very noticeable change here. And what this does to our 3-shot time to kill potential is pre-patch, it was 176 milliseconds, and post-patch, it's now 204 milliseconds. Now, 204 milliseconds, that's still a very competitive time to kill. This is still a powerful attachment. I just didn't really feel like this was necessary. But on top of that, I should also mention they did adjust the recoil values, at least the vertical recoil values. They increased the total magnitude of vertical recoil. However, when you also factor in the fact that our rate of fire is slower and therefore we have more time to recenter between shots, we technically end up with a tighter recoil pattern after this patch. So there we go, those are the 2 weapon changes I've noticed so far that weren't mentioned anywhere in the patch notes. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there were other changes to either base weapons or their attachments. So if you guys notice anything that feels different, or you know for sure something changed, please let me know in those comments down below, and I may do a follow-up video if there are some noticeable hidden changes here on top of the ones I just mentioned. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on all of the important gameplay affecting things that have changed with the Season 3 update. Overall, I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more than what we saw with this update. There really wasn't a whole lot that changed, but it is nice that they got on top of a few bugs and issues here or there. And at least it seems to be a small step in the right direction. Now, of course, that is just my opinion. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what are you guys thinking about this update? What do you think about the new guns so far, if you've had a chance to try them out? What do you think about the trophy system? And what do you think about some of the hidden updates that they've made and not mentioned in the patch notes yet? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.